America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Good evening all around the world. Welcome to class. It is time for your education tonight. It is time for your motivation, your inspiration, and hopefully even your salvation. One of these days, we will all know that our battle is not in vain, that we have been fighting the good fight of faith, and it will pay off very soon. It is Thursday, 8 o'clock Central, on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Mississippi, just outside of New Orleans. I am your teacher tonight. I am Professor Toto, because just like that little dog Toto in The Wizard of Oz, I too love to pull back the curtain on the lying wizard of liberalism. Thank you for joining me tonight, wherever you are. I hope you've had a wonderful day. I hope that you are blessed and that everything in your life is good. And if it's not, I pray that it will get better. In tonight's class, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the chalkboard and let's see. Tonight we're talking about a great victory. We've had two great victories in two courts, New York and Florida. Number two, I have a huge I told you so tonight. I told you so. I got one tonight by the name of Manchin and Cheney. Number three, ghost buses. Number four, children ruling over us in the U.S. Senate. Number five, look out for the 25th Amendment next. Number six, Abraham and abortion. Number 7, a backwards world. And then our monologue tonight, number 8. Our monologue is democracy is destroying America. Thank you for joining me. I want you tonight to settle in, grab a beanbag, tell a few friends hello. A few friends like Margaret Hernandez and Kimberly Dickman, Linda Garner and Adam Wingo and Kennedy Brown. Come on, tell all your neighbors from all over hello tonight. Diana Coral from Pennsylvania. Vicki Berry from Tennessee. So glad to have you tonight. Hello, Donna Flood and Betty Page. Good evening, Joel Walaruno from Indonesia. Welcome. Sandra Savanon, hello. Marcy Spear, hello. Angela Schumer, I love you right back. Hello, Mama Dot. Hello, Mary Sears and Donna Flood from Loudon, Tennessee. Brother Gary Ames from Texas. Ramiro and Ophelia Gomez. Katie Bashan from Kent, Washington. Brother Christopher Agwan, hello, my friend. Maureen LaQuire and all the LaQuire people, hello, hello, hello. Carol Trimble, Sapper Havik from Missouri. Wow, Tanya Schultz, hello, from Mobile, Alabama. You're only 2 hours from me, Tanya. Hello, Eileen and Sandra Brawlier. For those of you that live within 2 to 3 hours of me, I want to take a moment and invite you. Tomorrow night, we begin our weekend of Thanksgiving celebrations. If you've never been to a Thanksgiving here, you have missed out. Our people have cooked all week long. I have cooked all week long. We are going to have the biggest celebration of Thanksgiving, and we would love for you to join us. We start tomorrow night at 6 o'clock p.m. at our church. Saturday morning at 11 o'clock p.m. at the church. 1 o'clock is our grand dinner there at the church, where we are going to treat you to a meal of a lifetime. And then Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're all going to go to the ranch, our beautiful ranch, and we're going to have Harvest Day at the ranch, and we will have everything from candied apples to cotton candy to hot dogs, corn dogs. We're going to have some face painting. We're going to have some horse and buggy rides, hay rides, pony rides. The petting zoo will be open, where we have 2 beautiful new animals. We just got 2 donkeys, Ishmael and Isaac. And so we just want to invite you to come. Starting tomorrow night, we would love to have you. The next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, yours truly will be in the state of, Indiana. No, let's go to the 26th. No, that's 27th. 26th, I'm going to be in Chilla something another, Ohio, at Kingdom Hearts Church. I'll be doing a wealth strategy seminar. Brenda Hill is sponsoring this at the Kingdom Hearts Church. There's the address on the screen. If you live close by, come meet me. We would love to meet you and hug your neck and get to know you. That's the 26th of December at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Why don't you come see us? And then the very next day, Professor Toto will be in Elwood, Indiana at Joiner's Restaurant. Yeah, Joiner's Restaurant in Elwood, Indiana at 7 o'clock p.m. And then finally on the 28th, I will be in Galveston, Indiana at 6 o'clock p.m. there at 101 Park Road. So why don't you, Elder Vicki Baker is hosting that event, and we would sure love to have you. Mark Joyner is hosting the event in Elwood. Folks, we would love for you to come. Would you just come? I want to meet you, okay? make sure you come up to me, introduce yourself. I love getting to know our Patriots. Let's get a picture together, and it will be a lot of fun. One final announcement, and then we're getting into tonight's class. Monday night, that's next day, the Monday night, 8 o'clock, I want you to join me online for a private Zoom meeting. There's the QR code right there. Click on that QR code now and register. It's free of charge for a strategic shopping seminar. We're going to teach you how to quit supporting the left and start supporting the right. So why don't you please join me Monday night at 8 o'clock Central in that meeting? That's the QR code. Bam, click right there and register. You've got to register. It is free of charge for that event. If you don't know how to do a QR code, look down in the description box and you'll find a link. If that doesn't work, email me, brothervaughn@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link right away. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, there is, and I didn't get to write this on the chalkboard for tonight, but there is something that happened today, a video that is going viral. It's literally breaking the internet. It is truly viral. And it's on TikTok, and every one of your children are watching it and being persuaded by what they're seeing. I did a video earlier. I'm going to play it real quick. It's about 5 minutes. You need to share that clip. You can find it on my YouTube channel, my Rumble channel, my Facebook. You need to go share this. Why? Because without knowledge, we become defenseless. And you need the knowledge to be able to tell your children, they're going to come and ask you. They're going to talk about this. A letter to America from Osama bin Laden. He wrote this letter after the attack on 9/11. He wrote this letter, okay? Your children are being mesmerized by this letter. They need Professor Toto in their life. Watch quickly, and I'll be right back. So unless you've been living under a rock today, you're not aware of a viral video that is taking over TikTok today. Literally. It's concerning Osama bin Laden and a letter that he wrote to America, giving us the good reason why he attacked us on 9/11. You wouldn't think that it would be talked about today, but it is everywhere. And so I thought that I would go read this letter that is causing all of these young people, our generation that's going to be leading our nation very soon, it's giving them literally feelings of euphoria. I'll give you an example of what it looks like
This morning
out there
I
today.
read Letter to America, which is Osama bin Laden's letter to America explaining why he attacked Americans. And I am ashamed to say that I not only have never read this letter, but I didn't even know this letter existed. It's wild, and everyone should read it. If you haven't read it yet, read it.
Okay, so and I'm showing the video right here. If you'll look at them, look at all the young people, just one after the other. They're in awe. They are enamored. They are shocked. They are surprised. They are blown away. Why didn't anybody tell them that America was the bad guys? Why did we lie to them and tell them that Osama bin Laden was the bad guy? Well, so I thought, let me go read this letter that is the talk of the town. And I did. And I found out quickly how that the enemy depends on ignorance. And unfortunately, we have a generation that is ignorant of their history. So while I'm reading the letter, because I wanted to learn something, right? And so as I'm reading the letter, I'm going to read just one part to you. It's the first page of this letter that everybody is talking about. And This letter, if it was not built on a lie, I would have read the rest of it. But the very beginning of the letter is a lie. You need to know why it's a lie so that when your children come running to the dinner table tonight talking about what they heard on TikTok, you, the responsible parent, grandparent, guardian, can tell them the truth. So as we begin to read this letter, the first thing we find is, of course, Osama gives praise to Allah and all the wonderful prophets and what have you and whatnot at the beginning of the letter. But when he starts to explain why he attacked America, I want you to look real close at what he says. It's actually in paragraph AI. It says, "You attacked us in Palestine." Palestine, which has sunk under military occupation for more than 80 years, the British handed over Palestine with your help, America, and your support to the Jews, who have occupied it for more than 50 years now, overflowing with oppression, tyranny, crimes, killing, expulsion. The creation and the continuation of the state of Israel is one of the greatest crimes, and you are a leader of this crime. At that moment, I realized that if this part was a lie, everything else was a lie in this letter. Listen to me carefully. If you really care about the truth, listen to me. When he says that the creation of the state of Israel was a crime, he's a fool, and you are for believing him. Let me explain the way things work in the real world. When he says that the British gave the land to the Jewish people, what he forgot to tell you was because his people were such cowards. The Ottoman Empire was such cowards that they surrendered Jerusalem to the British Empire. Now, I did an entire video on this that you can go watch, and it's entitled From the River to the Sea. But listen to me. The Palestinian people cowardly surrendered Jerusalem and all of the land there of Israel to the British Empire. They were conquered in war. I have the letter that the mayor of Jerusalem wrote to the British Empire as a coward, telling them, we're outgunned, we surrender, we give it to you. Now, Osama just said that we stole the land. Osama just said in that letter that it was a crime that created the state of Israel. That's a lie. That's a lie. It was not a crime. It was a war that was won legitimately and according to the international rules of war. The Great British Empire decimated the enemy, which was Osama's people. We won that war fair and square, and it was surrendered to the British Empire. At which time the British Empire can do with it whatsoever they desire. There's an old saying, to the victor goes the spoil. The British Empire was given a mandate by the League of Nations to do with whatever they wanted to do with that defeated territory. And now these coward criminals want to come back after the fact because they lost a war. They lose every war because they cannot win wars. They lost the 6-Day War. They lost the Yom Kippur War. They're about to lose. They're losers. They fight from the back like cowards. So for all of my TikTok friends that have fallen for this letter of lies, walk in the light. It's much more beautiful in the light. Thanks for watching. Why do I take time to do these videos? I'm a busy man. I pastor a large nationwide church. Why did I stop today and make that video. Because when truth no longer means everything, then it no longer means anything. And you and I have an obligation to educate ourselves for our children's sake. Because this, when I tell you it's viral, we have American young people that are crying on TikTok, apologizing to all of the 9/11 attackers. We deserved it. We are so sorry. We deserved what happened to us. Thank you for bringing us God's judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the age of the delusioned. And only a few are walking in the light. And the ones that are walking in the light are hated by the ones walking in the darkness. So I encourage you tonight to equip your mind with an answer. Be ready to give an answer, okay? New York, great victory for our president, Judge Ignoramus Ingeron. You know, the one that likes to show his nipples. Judge Ignoramus Ingeron, the ones that likes to show off his little muscles with his blood vessels. That one that hates our president put a gag order on him because the president was telling the truth about the judge's clerk. That gag order, as of today, was deemed unconstitutional. It has been lifted, and our president is free to say whatever he wants to say about ignoramus. He's free to say whatever he wants to say. That judge overruled. Why? Because we always win. Come on, you know, in the end. Truth may be a long time coming, but when it comes, it don't take long. So put your nipples up, Judge Ignoramus. You were fired, if you will. At least your gag order was. Another great victory in the state of Florida. You're right, Diana Coral. I did tell you so. I told you it would never stand. Florida. Remember, they were supposed to start the trial of President Trump in May of 2024. Womp, womp, womp. Judge Eileen Cannon has moved the date, and she's open to moving it again. And so the left are going crazy. Here's what the left said today. The left said, I'm very concerned right now because there's no way this now goes to trial before the 2024 election. So now, if that one doesn't go to trial, folks, listen to me. And I want to sing, I told you so bad, but I'm not going to. Trying to constrain my voice. I got to preach all weekend. I told you. All of this is to create a great resurrection for Donald Trump. By the time these go to trial, he will be president. And then his Department of Justice will simply wave their hand and rid our president of this great leech, this great burden that has been put on him. And it won't happen none too soon, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot happen none too soon because our nation is in desperate need of a leader. Our nation is begging for a leader because never in my lifetime did I dream that I would see what I saw yesterday. On the streets of America, I would behold not the red, white, and blue. No, just the red. was a time you would have been afraid to wave the communist flag in the United States of America. But not only that, they're playing the national anthem of communism on the streets of America. I just never dreamed I would live to see this day. Ladies and gentlemen, we must have the return of Donald Trump, and we will. That moment is coming. But no, Joe Biden and President Xi are in love with one another. President Xi is the most powerful man in America, the only man that could have cleaned up homelessness in San Francisco, the only man in the world. He got a hero's welcome, communist flags, communist anthems raging. And don't be surprised, because Joe Biden is a traitor. He is unfreezing. Remember that $10 billion to Iran that we talked about a few weeks ago? And they come out and said, we're going to freeze it. Don't worry. Well, now they're unfreezing it. He's a traitor to his people. He is a traitor to his nation. So now they're unfreezing the $10 billion. He just loves giving America away.
We know each other for a long time. Our meetings have always been candid, straightforward, and useful. I value our conversation because I think it's paramount that you and I understand each other clearly, leader to leader, with no misconceptions or miscommunication. We have to ensure that competition does not veer into conflict, and we also have to manage it responsibly.
Walking out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, press.
Ma'am, we're walking out. And we're walking out.
Everyone's
start walking out.
Thank you so much. Everyone's got to head out. Everyone's got to head out. Everyone's heading out this way. Thank you so much. Pick it up, heading out that way, guys. Pick it up, heading out that way. Pick it up and heading out this way. Thank you so much. Everyone's heading out this way. This way. Thank you so much. Everyone's moving out.
We are moving. We are moving, guys. We are moving. We are moving. We're moving. We gotta go, guys. We're going back this way. Everybody's up and moving.
How did it go, Mr. President?
President Biden, how are talks going? Everybody's up and moving, guys. Guys, we're moving.
Sure.
Are you getting what you want? Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi?
They look like they were in love to me. It's just a beautiful thing. Oh, wow. I expected Frank Sinatra to start singing any moment. I did it my way. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I just love how he just tells him, you know, he speaks so comfortably. And this man is a dictator. This man is a communist dictator. Diametrically opposed to the American way of life. So there you go. You know, I've always told you who's in charge of this nation. I've always said it's not Biden. I've always told you it was Barack Obama. I've taught you about Barack intently over and over for years. And I was so shocked when I heard another man sound almost just like me, word for word. It blew my mind. I could have sworn I was listening to the Conservative College when I heard this interview just yesterday. I was like, wow, that sounds like Professor Toto. Listen carefully.
Coming through Iran and Obama wants to. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to mention. He doesn't even mention them in his statements. It's all coming through Iran.
But you mean President Biden? So, but right now,
I also mean Obama.
What do you mean?
I mean Obama and Biden, but Obama is Biden's boss. In case you didn't really know that.
You believe you believe President Obama?
My opinion, the boss. I don't think Biden knows what's happening. To be honest with you, I think that Obama is calling these shots, and he's always felt this way about Iran. There's no question about that. No, I think Obama and Obama's people certainly are calling the shots, not Biden.
So you don't have any. This just your gut tells you, but you don't have any proof that President Obama is calling the shots.
No, it's my gut, but my gut's been right about everything. So
it's good.
They have an expression out there. Trump's been right about everything. You take a look at. Go down the list. We've been right about everything.
So you know how volatile the Middle East is.
We're right about all of the people pouring into our country. Right about Ukraine. We're right about everything.
So what do we do? What do we do about getting our people back?
There are a lot of people from Obama in the administration that circle the Oval Office desk, the Resolute desk, and.
I told you so. Oh, I told you so. And now President Trump says the exact same thing. I love Brian Kilmeade thought Trump made a mistake by calling the president Obama. He said, "You mean Biden?" He said, "No, I mean Obama." So anyway, boy, and we've taught you about Iran. We told you everything's going through Iran, blah, 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 blah. So, folks, listen, you'll find the truth here at the Conservative College, where we keep it real, we keep it right, and we keep it tight. Sort of like a few months ago when I posted this on my Facebook timeline. Watch the date and watch the words. April the 3rd. Keep your eye on Joe Manchin. April the 3rd. And then on July the 17th, this will be the year of a formidable third-party candidate for the first time since Abraham Lincoln. And look what I put, Manchin Cheney. Now, today or yesterday, here's what the headline says. Are you ready? The West Virginia senator says he's absolutely considering running for president in 2024 because the country is currently on a wrong course and needs someone that can cause the country to meet in the middle. Folks, this is a football game, and Manchin's about to go up center field. Okay? I've warned you of this. I've told you of this. Here it is. He will be announcing shortly that he is running probably with Liz Cheney, and they're going to go up the middle. And now with Jill Stein running to take votes away from Joe Biden, RFK running, taking votes away from Trump and Biden, it only gets better from here, my friends. It just gets better from here. Speaking of better from here, how many of you know about those ghost buses? Look at the FBI director in the hot seat about these ghost buses on January the 6th.
Said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not. No.
You're saying no?
Not
Okay.
violence orchestrated by FBI sources or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure I've used that term before.
Okay. Well, it's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes. It's painted over. These two buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These two buses are painted completely white.
Point of order. Point of order. Sure.
Just run over the time.
I understand, but you'll recall that Ms. Jackson Lee's been allowed to go 2 minutes before. I've been very fair in letting people finish their questioning throughout my tenure as chairman, and I'll continue to be fair on that regard. But I will make a note to the members, if you could stay as close within your time as possible. We have a lot of people that want to ask these gentlemen questions. So with that, the gentleman yields. But your point, I've been very fair in this, Mr. Ivey, with everybody on this side of the aisle just as much.
I don't think I accuse you of being unfair, Mr. Chairman.
You're making a point. Okay, thank you. I now recognize Mr.
May I
Gray.
close this statement, Mr.
No,
Chairman?
I think your time is expired, Mr.
I note that other members across the aisle have been granted time, and I object to my question being closed. This is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming, Mr. Ray.
Mr. Higgins. I now recognize.
Your day is coming, Mr. Ray. That sounded quite prophetic to me. Now, I don't have time to play the other videos connected that he showed, these ghost buses being escorted by police into the Capitol. Ghost buses, completely unknown, unregistered, unaccounted for. And what piles out of these ghost buses is people dressed in MAGA gear. Do you remember the video I showed you a few weeks ago where they were attacking the Capitol while Trump was still speaking? And I told you, this is not MAGA people. They're busting the windows out while you had the real MAGA people saying, don't bust the windows out. But you see, they had to make sure that these senators that were going to rise that day and reveal their evidence were not allowed to speak. And that's exactly what happened. Hey, you got to give them credit. They won that battle, but they will not win the war. And it is a war. They are out to get Donald John Trump, whatever it takes. Yeah, they started with the 14th Amendment. Remember? Of course, I told you so. I told you that everybody was scared to death. What about this? I said, don't worry about it. It'll never work. I did a whole video why it wouldn't work. If you want to watch it, go to fhtv.tv and type in 14th Amendment and educate yourself. But now, ladies and gentlemen, no, we're moving on now. We're leaving the 14th Amendment in the dust. We've got another amendment that we're going to use. Oh, yeah. Not the 14th. Now we're going to the 25th Amendment. Just what?
25th Amendment piece stands out to me. As your reporting would suggest, is Donald Trump fully there mentally?
But what I'm telling you is the people that have raised questions about whether or not he is fully there mentally have been the people closest to him.
Now, Donald Trump is not even the president, guys. Well, he is. We know better. But officially, in their eyes, he's not even the president. Why are we talking about the 25th Amendment that only applies to a sitting president? I mean, how many amendments are we going to try to flip through? But now Trump is losing his mind, but not President Joe Obama or Biden. Oh, no.
None of us can comprehend the weight of the presidency. Every hour of every day. You couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Someone 45 years of age couldn't do what he does every day, but he does it.
Oh, that's right. So Biden is in his prime. Trump losing his mind. 25th Amendment. We live in a backwards world, folks. We live in a backwards world. Backwards. So backwards that I could not help but notice this article. I'm just going to read you the headline. I must move on. But I believe it's in the state of Connecticut. A Connecticut town is now marking the beginning of December with the launch of an after-school club called the Satan Club, sponsored by the Satanic Temple. So now, children in public schools will be going to Satan school after their classes are over. Satan school. You heard me right. Real quickly, I'm running out of time. I'm so very sorry, and I want to get to my monologue tonight. Before I do, I want to talk about one more thing. Abraham and abortion. I just want to touch on abortion for 4 minutes if I can. Abraham Lincoln did something that we need to pay attention to. It applies to the war on abortion. If there's anything we learned in Ohio and other states where abortions have advocates have won great victories, the first is that what Abraham Lincoln understood was public sentiment is everything in a republic. You have to win the argument before you can change the law. You can't win the argument unless you know how to make the argument. The second thing we learned is that a majority of Americans, they do want limits on abortion, but they also do not want to eliminate abortion. So what happens when we come to them with our messaging, like most of these candidates, Ron DeSantis and others, when we come saying we want to ban abortion, we totally just lost everyone that wants limits and they don't want to ban, which is the majority of Americans. We must get our messaging right. And I explained to you a few weeks ago about Abraham, how he told his wife to say she was his sister. Why? They needed to sell a story in order to survive to fight another day. Most Americans do not want abortion on demand. They don't. I know, I talk to them every day, but they also do not want an outright ban, especially with no exceptions. Now, what we need to understand is that Abraham Lincoln left us an example of how to win this war. And we can win it. But we got to watch what we say and how we say it. Abraham Lincoln thought that slavery was evil, just like you and I think that abortion is evil. And it is. Slavery was evil. He thought it was wrong. He wished there was a way he could eradicate slavery. However, he never tried to ban slavery. Okay? If he would have come out trying to ban slavery, he would have been defeated. But instead, he fought unflinchingly against the extension of slavery into the western states and territories. What does that mean? It means he fought a battle that he knew he could win, not a battle that he was sure to lose. I need everybody to please listen to me. Abraham Lincoln knew if he wanted to end slavery, don't say it. Put limits on it. He wanted to limit slavery to where it couldn't come any further than the South, could not expand any further. And yet we know how that battle turned out, don't we? We know eventually they overruled it. We must allow Donald Trump to be our Abraham Lincoln. Yes, it's evil, but if you think you're gonna fight a battle that you're sure to lose, you are sure to lose. I'm coming right back with tonight's monologue, Democracy is Destroying America. I'll be right back.
The volatility of the U.S. dollar is a harsh reality. We've seen the stock market come across ramped losses, even over the past 20 years. There's a need for an alternate financial strategy. How about gold or silver? Welcome to God's Money. With the PSI Security Platform, you can build your wealth and secure your future with precious metals that withstand the test of time. Gold and silver are the secrets the wealthy have used to accumulate and protect their wealth for decades. God's Money works with a team of world-class experts to deliver rare, high-quality, unique precious metals at impressive prices. Don't have the money to invest in silver and gold? No problem. Join our Coin of the Month program. With this amazing program, we will send you a little silver on a monthly basis. Consider this opportunity before it's too late. Act now. Go to www.godsmoney.info.
What is going on in the United States Senate? Our government is at a boiling point. That's why I created this pressure cooker and wrote on it the United States Senate. We are in a pressure cooker in our nation, in our government. And that pressure cooker is very close to exploding. And I want to talk to you tonight about why that is. I want to pull back the curtains for you. Get your notebooks out. Get ready to take notes while I educate you on how that democracy is destroying America. Now, to do that, I'm going to take you in just a moment inside of the United States Senate. When you get there, you're going to see children ruling over us. You're going to see animals ruling over us. There was a day the United States Senate was a distinguished house. It was a house that even if you didn't agree with a certain senator, they carried a gravitas about them. They carried a presence when they walked. Boy, have we come a long ways from that. They carried a certain demand of respect no matter what side of the aisle they were on. They were our esteemed elders. They were the ones that cooled down the House of Representatives. They were the saucer that caught the hot coffee that comes boiling out of the mad House of Representatives. But I want to show you right now where we are as a nation. And then I'm going to tell you how we got there and the only way we're going to get out of it. It's imperative that you watch this video clip and you see how that we're living in a time where children are ruling over us.
MMA fighter and current Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin took issue with a tweet by Teamsters Union leader Sean O'Brien during a HELP committee hearing. Quit the tough guy act. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Hashtag little man syndrome.
Sure, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on. Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution? Every problem?
No, sit down. Sorry, Eric, sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Oh,
okay. Sit down, please.
Okay. I never thought I'd say this, but Bernie Sanders seems to be the voice of reason here.
You don't do that in Oklahoma. You don't run your mouth unless you're going to answer the call. I didn't start it. I didn't tweet at him. I didn't go after him. I have no beef with the guy.
Sean O'Brien, president of that union, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, is here. And Sean, I have to say, I'm sure you're plenty strong, but Markwayne Mullin is a former professional MMA fighter. What went through your mind when he basically challenged you to a physical fight during a Senate hearing?
Yeah, you know, look, what went through my mind was you're one of 100 of the most powerful people in the country, and you're acting like a 12-year-old in a schoolyard because you didn't get your way.
Okay, but can I say you're tweeting like a 12-year-old? I mean, your tweets were, you know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. You're making fun of him for not being the tallest senator. I mean, you represent 1.3 million workers. Do you really think...
You all continue to... You look like a Smurf here, just going around and all this stuff. Now, listen.
Mr. Chairman, I'm
going to tell you something.
Hold on. If we're not on time,
we spew disinformation.
You have gone on TV and said the president did something illegal.
Kevin McCarthy walked by and he elbowed me in the kidneys as he walked by.
You're quite confident this was deliberate.
Oh, come on. I'll take a polygraph test and have Kevin take a polygraph test.
Did I hit somebody? I did not run and hit the guy. I did not kidney punch him. I did not shoot anything like that.
You didn't shove him?
No. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even know something transpired.
But reporters or witnesses said it looked like there was plenty of room for you to walk and that you intentionally hit him.
There is, okay, not a place. Show me a reporter who saw that.
Claudia Grisales joins us now. She's a congressional correspondent for NPR. Witnessed the altercation.
It was pretty stunning. I didn't register it as a serious shove, if you will.
until a few moments into it. I was just starting my interview with the congressman, with Tim Burchett of Tennessee, and I was just checking in on the conference meeting that had taken place just a short ways down that same hallway. And while we're standing in the hallway, suddenly Burchett lunges towards me, and he had been shoved, what it looked like for me. What I saw when I looked up, I could see McCarthy, I could see his detail, and I felt like I could see an elbow retracting back from McCarthy after doing this shove. And so, I thought that was a joke at that moment. Burchett even responded in a joking fashion. He said, "Sorry, Kevin, didn't mean to elbow you." But within a second later, Burchett was yelling down to McCarthy, who continued to walk without pausing as if nothing happened. And Burchett was yelling back at McCarthy, "Why'd you elbow me in the back, Kevin?"
Sorry, Kevin, didn't mean to elbow. Why'd you elbow me in the back, Kevin?
I know, I felt so bad.
Hey, Kevin, you got any guts? Jerk.
I feel like I was just in high school. I feel like I was just witnessing what I used to see in high school. Animals, idiots, that's ruling over us. Now, I've seen some of your comments that you're proud of him for standing up. And let's not be part of the problem. Since when did violence and the threat thereof become okay? When did elbowing people and threatening, let's fight right here in front of our children that are watching? No, we try to tell our children not to act like that. And here are their senators acting like animals, and we're okay with it. That's how degraded and devolved we have become as a nation. That is where we are. You don't fight a man because he tweeted something. This is a free country. You can tweet what you want to. Do y'all know I would be in fights every day if I fought over some of the stuff people say about me? There is something brewing in our government. And the question is, where is this mindset taking us as a people? The children have taken over the schoolhouse. In Ohio, the pot smokers took over the schoolhouse. Do you know why? Because democracy is destroying America. I want to show you something from an old book. It's a book that many people don't read. It's an old book. But I would like to read it to you, if you would just allow me to. It's a prophecy from an old book written by a prophet by the name of Isaiah. Isaiah was prophesying about end-time Israel when he said these words. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 4, "I will make boys their officials. Mere children will govern them. I will make boys their officials. Mere children will govern my people, Israel." Isaiah 3 and 5, "People will oppress each other," means fighting each other. "Man against man, neighbor against neighbor. The young will rise up against the old. The base will rise up against the honorable." In other words, the left and the far crazies will rise up against those that's trying to be responsible citizens. A man will seize one of his brothers at his father's house and say, "You've got a cloak, you be our leader. Take charge of this heap of ruin." In other words, they'll pick anybody and put them in government. But in that day, the brother will cry out, "I don't have no remedy. I have no food. Do not make me the leader of this people." He said it's going to get so bad, everyone's going to begin to resign and retire because nobody wants to lead. And then what will happen when responsible people don't want to lead anymore? Then you get Elian Idiot Omars. Then you get Cortez, and then you get Bald, what's her name? That's what you get. Children ruling over. We're there. We're there. Did you know your Bible prophesied that in end time Israel, literally, we would have children rule out? Now, Miss Teacher said, when Trump told, I got to address this one, guys. When Trump told the Proud Boys, stand back, stand by, that's when violence apparently became okay. No, let me tell you what became okay, Miss Teacher. Here's what became okay. Whenever Proud Boys have a right to protest like anyone else does in America, at that point, there was no violence. When he said stand back, that means stop. Don't do anything else. Stand by, stand back. In other words, you have a right to protest. Stand by, protest all you want to. You see, Donald Trump has a right to free speech in America. He can say stand by, stand back, stand down, stand up, stand around. Frank Couste wants to know why I'm picking on pot smokers. Oh, let me introduce you to a few of them and you'll understand, Frank. Hello, yeah. You want me to get a job? No, I don't need a job. Everything's good, man. Why don't you come to church and get saved? I am saved, man. I'm so saved. I'm beyond saved, man. But I need a few dollars. Well, why don't you get a job? They won't hire me, man. They want to do a drug test on me, man. Y'all drive me crazy with this stuff. Whatever happened to decency? Whatever happened to just Frank Couste? Call it a stereotype all you want. I pastor a church. I deal with them every day. Matter of fact, tonight, do you know where one of them is, Frank? Come to my church, Frank. I've got one sleeping at the front door of my church because we will not bother him. We're letting him sleep there because we are Christians. It all started with pot. I don't care what anybody tells you. It all starts with pot. The Bible said, abstain the very appearance of evil. And I didn't come tonight to preach on this at all. At all. But I have come to tell you that we must get back to being a republic. There has to be a revival of the republic. What is it that is setting these people off so bad in Congress, in the Senate, everywhere, in the streets? Why is everybody so angry? Guys, I'm not that old. I'm 50. But I remember America before the year 2000. I remember America before the year 2000. I don't remember anger. I grew up in small town Mississippi. There was no anger. There was no drug addicts. The worst thing you had was an alcoholic. I remember America without the anger. I remember when you could have your religion, I could have mine. You could be your political opinion, I could have mine. And we could go to lunch together. Y'all know I remember those days. Does anybody remember the world I'm talking about? You know, even Snoop Dogg declared today he's through smoking pot. Why is everyone so angry? Because the prince of the power of the air, do you know that when Satan is angry, he affects the airwaves, literally his frequency, that transmission, it goes all over the world because he controls the airwaves? The Bible calls him the prince of the authority of the air. the atmosphere. Have you ever woke up one day and you said, today feels off, something don't feel right? There's something in the what? In the air? You ever said that before? That's because there is something in the air. And in the last 20 years, I preached a message called The Return of the Nephilim. Go watch it on fhtv.tv. In the last 20 years, there has been a release of anger from these fallen angels because the Bible said they're angry because they know their time is short. And listen, let me tell you why they're angry. Because they hate God's law and they hate any law. I remember as a young man, there was no lawlessness in our town. One or two that might do something every now and then. But now lawlessness is everywhere. Do any of y'all remember seeing riots where they go in and steal everything out of a store, flash riots? No! What's happening? I'm going to tell you what's happening. The republic is becoming a democracy. We are allowing people to take over instead of the law. I remember as a child, we talked about the rule of law. It was a badge of honor in America, the rule of law. But when you lose your republic, you lose a rule of law and you get a democracy. Democracy is a rule of the people. We're getting to the point now in America that without a religious conscience, we will not be able to handle freedom. Freedom is fickle. It can only be had by religious, moral people. That's the only thing that will save America is a restoration of the republic. The vast majority of people today are deceived about what freedom is. I watched a young man last night coming through an airport. He looked suspicious. The police came up to him to check him out. Remember, the police, no matter what you think about them, are the authority to enforce the law. Okay? They go to this man. He stands up. His chest bows out to him. He says, bruh. Nah, bruh. Y'all ain't gonna do me that, bruh. Nah, bruh. Y'all, nah, bruh. I sounded like an animal. Nah, bruh. No, bruh. You ain't doing that, bruh. Animals. When a police officer walks up to you, shut your mouth and say, yes, sir. How can I help you, officer? And if he's doing you wrong, shut your mouth until you get to court. We are living in a generation where no one fears the law. Because we don't know what freedom is. This man told that officer, I've got freedom of speech, bruh. No. When a police officer tells you to shut up, you just lost that freedom until they are done with you. That's it. You don't get that freedom back till you go to court. We're living in a generation, whether it's in the church, same thing in the church. Everybody wants to go to church. They don't want nobody to have authority over them. Oh, they all want a pastor, but they don't want a shepherd. They don't want any authority whatsoever. They want freedom. But you see, you cannot be free until you know what freedom is. You cannot avoid slavery unless you know what slavery is. Are you sure tonight, my dear friends, that you know what freedom is? I want to read you a verse of scripture, 2 Peter 2:19. They promised them freedom, but they themselves are slaves of corruption. For whatever overcomes a man, to that he is a slave. He said, the world offers you freedom. Come on, get out of the church where they put bondage on you. They tell you what to do and what not to do. Come on out here where we are. And Peter said, when you get out there, it is slaves that are offering you freedom. They're all bound by something. Whatever it is, they're bound and they are slaves. Let's talk about alcohol. You have a freedom to drink alcohol. Now, in the church, we condemn alcohol. Why? We don't want you to be a slave to it. But they like, come on out here and drink, brother. Come on, you're a free American. You're a grown man. Do what you want to do. You get your freedom. Get out from under that cult that tells you what to do. And you come on out here where we can be free. You want to be free with us? Anybody want to be free with us? Let's all be free, everybody. Come on out here and be free with us. Let's all have a little freedom. You know, about like that right there. Look, I'm free, bruh. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do, bruh. I'm a free man. You're a fool. You're not free unless you are free in Christ and you're walking in the commandments of God and the law of the land. People, I'm free to drink and you can do it all day long, but you will become an alcoholic. Then you will crave alcohol and you'll be miserable without it while you're screaming, I'm free, man. Is that freedom? How many of these people have gotten hooked on pot and drugs because they longed for freedom? The only way to be free is to come under the control of the law of the land and the law of God. Otherwise, you can scream you're free while they're handcuffing you and while you're in prison. I'm free, man. No, you're deceived. Many people consider it freedom to destroy their body with drugs. That's not freedom. They're totally enslaved. America is overcome by a drug problem, but it's not a drug problem. It's a freedom problem. They want freedom. They don't want, and why do you think? Why do you think, brothers and sisters, I said democracy is destroying America? Go to Ohio, a good red state. Do you know why now drugs are legal? I'm sorry, abortion. The other state that I talked about Tuesday night where drugs are legal, Portland, Oregon. They've got freedom now. Go do what you want. That's because of a democracy. People are voting for their vices. People are voting for their vices. Whereas in a republic, they were the gatekeepers that made decisions from up here instead of out of that vice. But when you tell the people, come vote, it's a democracy. Come vote. No. Our founding fathers were afraid of us. They knew that we would become animals. They knew we would become slaves to our passions, just like Rome did, just like Greece did. They knew it was coming, so they created a constitution that allowed us to have representative government to protect us from us. I could go on and on. I could talk about pornography. You're free to watch pornography. You are free until you watch it. And then you just took your children into bondage, your wife, everyone else is in bondage now because of your freedom. How much longer can we handle freedom in America? It started in the year 2020 in the election of Al Gore, and my time is gone. I'm rushing. Please stay with me, I beg you. Al Gore, George W. Bush. Something happened in 2020 that was a precursor I'm sorry, something happened in 2000 that was a precursor to 2020. Election integrity. There was an election, and I'm not going to go into it. Many of you remember what happens. What happened was, how did George Bush win that presidency? Because the Florida Supreme Court messed up. The Florida Supreme Court did something that seemed fair, and it sounded great, but it was illegal. And the U.S. Supreme Court overrode the Florida court for creating laws, no matter how fair it looked. In 2020, it looked so fair for the secretaries of state to tell everyone that was at home with COVID, you're indefinitely confined. Send in a mail-in ballot. That's fair. It might have been fair, but it was illegal. And in a republic, the law is supreme. In a democracy, people are supreme. In Florida, all they did was that the Florida Supreme Court, they said in Article 2, Section 1 of the U.S. Constitution says that the judges cannot make new election laws. Well, when the Florida Supreme Court took up the case, here's all they did. They said, we're going to do a recount in this area and that area, a manual recount. Sounds fair, right? No, it's illegal, because only the legislature can determine election laws. Only they can write election protocol. That's in the Constitution. The Florida Supreme Court was just trying to be fair. Ladies and gentlemen, people don't rule this nation. The law of the land does. This is why in 2020, we said foul play, hold on. No, everybody cannot vote absentee. No, because the legislatures can only decide that. That's why without a revival of the republic, we cannot handle our freedom much, much longer. The purpose of the courts is to interpret law, not to enforce it or to make laws. Definitely not to break the law. This Florida chaos gave us insight into what will happen all across America if we don't wake up. We are evolving into an anarchy without government. Our Senate is an anarchy. Our leaders are an anarchy. Why? Democracy is destroying America. So the Supreme Court of Florida should never have intervened at all. So they get to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, hey, there's no law that says there must be a manual recount. You don't make laws, Supreme Court. Sorry, George Bush is the winner. That was the law of the land. But the problem with our nation now, they want an evolving or a living constitution and a living law. Why? Because humans hate law. It is the law that keeps us free. Judges 21 and 25 says every man did that which was right in his own eyes. That was the condition of the end time. We will all do what's right in our own eyes. Let me tell you something, darling. Watch this carefully. Down this railroad track comes your opinions right there. Watch it. It's going fast down the railroad track. That's your opinion, okay? The moment it meets the word of God or the law of the land, it explodes. Your opinion no longer matters. What does the law say? What does the word say? In the 2020 election, the law said you can only vote absentee ballot if you meet these three criteria. Any other vote was illegal. I've never talked about machines and this and that. I've told you what was illegal. This is not a small problem. This is a plague. We have to understand this. We have to know that our leaders are like little children in their reasoning. They're acting like babies. A child has no history to draw from. Many of our leaders have rejected the lessons of history, our greatest secular source of guidance. A good understanding of history gives a leader a vision into the future. Winston Churchill warned us about Germany in the 1930s. Why did he do it? Because he remembered Germany, how they acted in 1870. Listen, the only thing that doesn't change is God. Man and man, God and man, their two natures never change except by the power of the Holy Spirit. Children are guided by emotions. When I saw these senators wanting to fight in front of my children, I saw men controlled by their emotions. And I'm so sad to say Bernie Sanders is the only one that said anything with sense at that moment. Sir, you are a United States Senator. Act like it. Why? Because with great responsibility, with great honor and duty comes great responsibility. The prophet Isaiah said the children will rule. They rule in the homes right now. All over this nation, children rule the homes. If you don't believe me, look at mom and dad trying to get their children to every activity they can find except church. Let's get them in volleyball. Let's get them in football. Let's get them in this. Let's get them in that. Why? They don't want the children to get bored, bless God, or the children will run that or rule the house. Children are naturally lawless. They're guided by their emotion. A house divided against itself cannot stand. But where is the leader today who, like Mr. Abraham Lincoln, will step up and say today that the solution is the law of the land? Al Gore conceded the election with these words. I strongly disagree. Why? Because he believes in a living constitution. Many Christians that I know of believes in a living Bible. They believe it should adapt with the times. My dear friend, there's no such thing as a living constitution or a living Bible. Those are two books that are closed. They are definite. They are the rock of Gibraltar upon which we stand. And the torrential tides of time have never one time altered the boundaries of the river or the sea of which it is confined to stay in. The law of this great republic, it must not, it cannot, and it will not change for me or you or anyone else. Without the bedrock, we are falling off of the rock. I call you tonight, if you've never believed in the republic, you must become an evangelist of the revival of the republic. We must save America from democracy. We must preach the republic. We must reach for the republic. We must stand as a republic. We must honor the law. We must fight for what's left. Forget what we've lost. And we must fight for what's left. Good night. God bless you, everybody.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this man. God bless
Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston,